All right. Welcome back. Rebooking the 90s. I thought you were going to make a funny noise or something there, but this is episode 10. Can you believe that we've done 10 episodes of this show?
Oh, yeah. There we
Amazing.
go.
There it is. There it is. Thank you. This is the last 3 episodes. So we got 2 more TVs, and then we got our big final pay-per-view, which we decided on your name last episode, which is, once again, let's make sure we get this right here.
A Maniacs Mania.
The biggest one.
The biggest one.
The biggest one. I'm into it. And of course, my pay-per-view, Worlds Collide. We also decided at the last episode that we are going to have some celebrity guests. We said 2 last time. We've actually spoken since then and decided it's going to be 3 celebrity guests. I will not reveal who those are. I'm going to reveal a couple of them on my show today.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, yeah.
Yes. So have you chosen 3 celebrity guests?
I have chosen my 3 celebrity guests, but I think they're going to be revealed next week. We're saving off for the show before the show.
I love it. I love it. You know, I want to trickle these reveals out slowly, kind of space them out a bit, but I think that's great. You're right up to the wire. Have you built your card for Maniacs Mania, the biggest one?
Mostly, yeah. There is there's rumblings. Like most of the card is built, but there's still some room. You know what I mean, for some politicking. If some of the boys want to, slip some extra money in my pocket, or just we need to get the advertisements out on Facebook. So if somebody could just plug, like if people are willing to do a little self-promoting, I would probably give them a better spot on the show. I'm just saying that right now.
That's great. And just like back in the classic indie days, I mean, I think whoever sells the most tickets is probably going to get. So, you got to put up some posters.
Totally posters.
You got to go door to door.
You get $2 off every ticket you sell even. So
I remember one of the original independent promotions I had worked for, the promoter actually said that whoever sold the most tickets, he would put the junior heavyweight championship, whatever our mid-card title was.
Perfect. That's
whichever one of us sold the most tickets was going to get the junior heavyweight championship. And I feel like this story is sort of like vague in my mind. I don't remember all the total details, but I feel like we had a female trainee who actually sold the most tickets.
That makes sense.
I don't remember if he actually put the title on her or not. She was definitely not ready to be wrestling on shows. And I'm not sure if he ended up putting the title on her or not. I might have left before that, but
that sounds like something that you would throw out there, and then not really think about the ramifications of the consequences. Not that you couldn't have anyone become the champion, but you don't. You just think. You never know. It could be the photographer who sells the most photos or something like that, or and good for them. But are they going to be our junior champion? I don't know.
Apparently, in that promotion, that's how they book it. That's indie wrestling right there.
I'd like that. Just as long as the fans knew that, I think it'd be okay. You know what I mean? Let's go. What about a title where it is just that straight up? Who brought the most people to the show championship? And then you can have
the ticket selling champion.
Exactly. Yeah, you could have maybe families feud with each other, where it's one family, 2 big families that are trying to see, maybe having babies just so they can bring more people to the show, adopting members of the family.
I mean, you have the hot sauce or the hot wing eating championship, whichever it is. You could definitely have a ticket selling title.
I think that matters more than hot wings.
And I feel like Abe Lincoln, as a natural politician, as sort of a man of the people, he could sell a lot of tickets.
He could talk people into a building for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's get going here.
Sweet. So you're going to be up first this week. I'll let you go here, and excited to hear your show.
Here we go. We're starting. Here we go with Protest Pro Rest. We open up with in a hospital, dramatic setting. We open to D'Lo Brown laying in a hospital bed with all of his family members and his friends around him. They're teary-eyed. He's been in the coma since last week. Even though he was involved in our main event last week, he lost the championship to The Undertaker because he was in some sort of trance, still not with it. And since then has been in this coma. The doctor said they've tried everything that they possibly can to wake up D'Lo Brown, and that only some sort of shock will be able to wake him up from this coma. At that moment, Mick Foley enters the room. He says, "Did I hear sock?" He walks in and starts performing a puppet show for D'Lo Brown with Mr. Socko on his hand, doing that high-pitched, squeaky voice, hoping that will pop D'Lo Brown out of this coma. Meanwhile, D'Lo Brown's family, they're all in mourning clothes. They're in veils and dark black clothes and stuff like that, and they are none too happy to see Mick Foley shenanigans right now. Sadly, D'Lo Brown does not wake up. We open up at the building to our first match. It is Lance versus Buff Bagwell. Buff Bagwell struts out to the ring. He's got his top hat on. That top hat that he now shares with Abe Lincoln. It seems like there's no more feuding over this top hat. It seems like they've almost come to a common bond. Maybe, it's like a stepfather thing where like Abe Lincoln gets it on Wednesdays and every other weekend or something like that.
I hope neither of them have lice if they're sharing this top hat.
I think with wrestling, I think if one person has lice, we've all got lice, baby. Really think about it. Like, how could we not,
True.
I got fleas at a WWE tryout one time. This is 100% true, from a wrestler who was also from Alberta. Another person I hadn't worked with much, not going to drop any names, but didn't know we were both going to be at the tryout. Show up at the tryout. They looked like they hadn't bathed in a while. I could see them they looked like Pigpen, basically. They were scratching behind their ear, itching the whole time. I come home, I've got flea bites all over myself.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, so it can happen. So, yeah, watch out. Wash your hair. So, Buff Bagwell versus Lance Storm with Abe Lincoln in Buff Bagwell's corner. Lance is kind of schooling Buff Bagwell, as we could imagine he does. Buff Bagwell's trying to bring that sports entertainment style. Meanwhile, Lance is bringing that technically based style, hitting all sorts of drop kicks, hitting all sorts of leg lariats, working over Buff Bagwell's leg. Finally, Buff Bagwell is able to kick off Lance Storm, and he starts making that big crawl towards the top hat, which is in the corner, which we've said is like his Undertaker's urn, where he can... Oh, I lost my page here, but we'll find it, and we got it. It's like his Undertaker's urn. It gets him that power, gets him that fire, and just as he's about to reach for it, Abe Lincoln yanks it away, leaving... Where is it? Oh, sorry about this. Okay, there we are. Abe Lincoln takes the top hat away and says, Buff Bagwell, you can do this on your own. You don't need the urn. You can do this on your own. It's always been inside you yourself. Buff Bagwell, not too sure of himself, turns around, boom, gets rolled up right into the maple leaf, taps out right away. Abe Lincoln looks at the top hat, now covered in sparkles, now covered in lightning bolts, now covered in not only a picture of Buff Bagwell's face, but also a picture of Abe Lincoln's face. So it's got Buff Bagwell on the front, Abe Lincoln on the back, and then on the top it's got like an amalgamation of their faces. So I want you to picture like Buff Bagwell with a giant Abe Lincoln beard on the top, and Abe Lincoln just struts out wearing the hat.
I love it.
Buff Bagwell has a temper tantrum that his friend, his ally, his co-parent of a hat, Abe Lincoln, has left him high and dry.
Things not working out well for Buff and Abe. This new partnership not going well.
I've tried to share a hat in the past. It never works out.
It never works. It's impossible. No. Yeah.
We go to Raven and Piper, who are in their office together, and they're still trying to make it work. Last week we saw they were on the same page after their weekend getaway together, but now they're still not quite there. They're trying to make it work. They're using a lot of I language. We hear Piper saying, I feel that you don't understand my needs. We hear Raven saying, I feel that you aren't listening to me and that you treat me as a lesser than. We see that there's still beef there, but they're trying to make it work. We go to the ring, or we have Mike Awesome storm into the office. He hasn't been seen in a couple weeks. He's one of the biggest, baddest members of our roster, and he wants a shot at our new champion, at the Protest Pro Wrestling champion, The Undertaker, tonight in the main event.
That's a big match. Also glad to see Mike Awesome back.
Totally, right? The match I'd love to have seen, actually.
Yeah.
Two men that match up quite well. They both have great dives, great aerial maneuvers, great power moves. Going to be a hell of a match. Piper and Raven not in a good mood. Kind of say, you want Undertaker after you've seen what he's done to D'Lo Brown, after you've seen what quick work he's done in the 2 weeks that he's been in our promotion? Have at her. Get out of here. We needed a main event anyways. We go to the ring for our second match, which is Luna and Bull Nakano versus the Hardy Boys, who come out to the ring with the Flat Earthers. Jeff Hardy's still not quite sold on the whole flat Earth conspiracy, but Matt Hardy's 110% bought in. They're still trying to like convince Jeff Hardy on the apron. Meanwhile, Matt Hardy's having to take most of the match on himself, which isn't leading him too well. Luna and Bull are doing double team after double team, showing great unison as a tag team here, and showing why they work so well and why that they are a force to be reckoned with. Finally, Matt Hardy's able to make the tag to Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy comes in like a house of fire, hot comeback, hits the big poetry in motion out of the corner, and then goes for the swanton, is up on the top rope when he gets handed a map, which, as we know, a flat map, which, as we know, the flat earthers believe as a globe. Jeff Hardy refuses to use it, hands it back to them. At that point, both Bull Nakano and Luna both double beel him off the top rope. He sells up into the corner. Bull Nakano hits a big running butt into the corner. He sells out. Luna hits him with the implant DDT, and then the Hardys lose to Bull Nakano and Luna Vachon.
Wow.
Yeah. So we've got to think that, like, if Jeff Hardy just listened, it's got to be one way or another. This shows where you've got to be on the same page if you're a team. You've got to have somewhat of the same beliefs. You've got to be coming from the same place. And the fact that they didn't cost them this match. Next, we have the Dudleys with their newest member of their team, Booker T. Coming out, they're all wearing fatigues. We've got to think it's not Booker T anymore. We've got G.I. Bro now.
G.I. Bro. G.I. Bro is here.
He's here, finally. I know you've been waiting for him.
I said that right off the bat. Man, G.I. Bro, I'm ready.
I can see you just light up when you hear G.I. Bro. I think most people at home are also lighting up. So we got G.I. Bro. We got the Dudleys coming out against Spike Dudley, Rey Mysterio, and Tajiri. Again, it is to Rey Mysterio with the little horns. He's got the Tommy Hilfiger overalls on. He's looking cool, but he doesn't look like he's necessarily ready for a fight. This breaks down real quick the in-ring technical expertise of Rey, Tajiri, and Spike. More Rey and Tajiri, but still Spike is in there too. They're kind of schooling the Dudleys and showing them that, making them look like fools. The Dudleys get frustrated. They reach underneath that ring. They go for that skipping rope. They bring it out and they just start whipping people. All of them get themselves instantly DQ'd. At this point, they pass the skipping rope off to Booker T, asking him to whip them, asking him to whip the now on the knees Rey Mysterio, looking up at him with those big brown eyes and those horns on his head. Booker T just can't bring himself to do it. He drops the rope, shakes his head, and he walks out. He, too, has left his alliances. We've got a lot of changing of alliances here.
And maybe the first time in professional wrestling history there's been a disqualification for the usage of a skipping rope.
It's the first, but it probably won't be the last. I can tell you that right now.
Right. And dissension everywhere in the ranks tonight. The Flat Earthers, Buff Bagwell, and Abe Lincoln, Booker T, and the Dudleys. Wow.
Right. This could maybe all be leading to something.
I hope so.
We go to the hospital, back to the hospital, where we see D'Lo Brown there, and we see Dr. Luther coming in. He's got a pentagram. He's going to do an exorcism. He's going to take the demon out of D'Lo Brown the only way that he knows how, and that is by the sweet sound of his screaming voice. So he bends down, pentagram above, anoints D'Lo Brown, and right into D'Lo Brown's ear. Still nothing. We see like the Taz thing, the heart monitor, I suppose it's called. We see that hasn't changed. Nothing changes. His brain waves are exactly the same. Dr. Luther tried, but has failed to wake up D'Lo Brown. We go back to the ring. We see Brett and Owen. They are getting ready to take on our tag team champions. They are ready to take on the Flat Earthers. So this would be, I think, in this incarnation of the Hart Foundation, it would be like we've had the newest. We've had the newest. I think this is the Hart Foundation we want. This is Brett and Owen.
Yeah, this is the best combination for sure.
This is the best combination possible. I mean, they haven't always been on the same page, but what they could be, there's no stopping them.
Could this be like Hart Foundation 2000 or something? I mean, that's a popular wrestling
I like that, especially in 2020 too. You know what I mean? I think
Well,
somebody should.
we're in 2022, but this is actually in the 90s.
Okay, yeah. Well, there you go.
So
Exactly. Right. So they're
yeah,
looking forward.
they're looking forward. It's LOD 2000.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
totally. I like that a lot. So maybe, yeah, I think we're gonna go with that. Like giant foam sunglasses coming
Mhm.
out. So really more that LOD 2000 kind of look, really kind of pushing it towards the kids, kind of cooler, maybe even a combination of the New Heart Foundation kind of gear mixed with like the old classic pink.
Right.
So we got Brett and Owen versus the Flat Earthers. Again, Arn Anderson and Bob Holly, they're nothing. They're nothing to be laughed at. These are two very technical wrestlers, even though they may have some strange beliefs. They can go toe to toe with Owen and
Hmm.
Brett. Brett and Owen are just one step ahead every single time, counter for counter. But Brett and Owen just keep getting the one up. At this point, Brett and Owen both are able to lock in the double sharpshooters, looking at each other right in the middle of the ring. Um, Matt Hardy runs out, grabs the referee. At that point, the Flat Earthers are able to reverse the holds, get out of them, and scurry up the ramp. They don't want any part of Brett and Owen. They get themselves counted out. Brett and Owen win the match, but again are not the tag team champions because via count out.
Yep.
Matt Hardy grabs both belts. Jeff Hardy nowhere to be found, runs them up to the ramp. They're all there celebrating on the ramps, holding their belts, laughing at Brett and Owen in the ring, when up from above comes a hot sauce bloodbath. Standing on the ramp, covered in hot sauce, humiliated, scalding hot, feeling all of those hot peppers burning in their eyes. They may have walked off with the championships, but they do not look like champions right now.
I
We
imagine the smell in the arena would be quite strong after the hot sauce bloodbath.
Oh yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. But you know what? I mean, my fans are used to it. Most of my arenas are, like old rodeo venues. Especially this one today. It was actually like an old bull rodeo place. It's the Rockyford Rodeo. So yeah, it smells not great to begin with. So they're appreciating the hot sauce
So maybe it's better. It's better with the hot
a
sauce.
little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
But we go to our next match, which is our first pre-scheduled match for this week. We have Liz versus Al Snow's Head. Al Snow's Head, obviously accompanied by Al Snow, as well as by China. Liz, accompanied by Rick Rude. Liz is now, she's donning the Rick Rude style tights. She comes out in track pants, only to rip them off to show that she's got Rick Rude's head all over her tights. Rick Rude's got her head all over his tights. Head's got head in the ring. And this is the match we're having tonight. Elizabeth picks up the head, can't believe that she's got to have her first encounter in the ring versus an inanimate object. China jumps up on the apron, kind of laughing at Liz. Liz with head in her hands, goes to hit China off the apron. China drops off the apron. Liz hits the top rope. Boom. Ricochets it back, hits herself in the head. Head lands on top of Liz for the 1, 2, 3. Head goes over Liz. China and Al Snow are laughing it up as Al grabs head and runs to the back, laughing in each other's ear. Rude and Liz are having a temper tantrum in the middle of the ring, which leads to our next match. China says, I'm out here right now. Rude, you're out here right now. We're scheduled to have our match right here tonight. Let's do this. China versus Rick Rude in the ring. China says, no. I've got a surprise for you. She comes into the ring. She takes off her spandex pants. Underneath her spandex pants, she's got airbrush tights as well. Not only does it have Rick Rude, not only does it have Liz on it, but it also has a picture of Rick Rude's mother, just putting salt into the wounds. And it's not a pretty picture either. It's like Rick Rude's mom after she woke up after a 4-day binge. So
I think most of your budget is going towards airbrushing, whether it's tights or Buff Bagwell's hat, or you must have a full-time airbrusher on staff.
We do. His name is Glenn, and he does fantastic work. And I just think
Great.
supporting the arts is really important. And we found him actually down on Venice Beach. He was just doing some airbrushing there of tin cans and such. And his work was so fantastic that he needed a job. So
amazing. And if anyone is listening that would need some airbrushing work done, please contact Glenn.
Yeah,
Shout out to Glenn on Venice Beach. Just find him on Venice Beach.
Yeah, it's easy to find him with the guy.
We don't have his number. Just find him.
I don't think he has a number.
No.
All right, so we got Chyna versus Rick Rude in the ring. Rick Rude can't believe what he's seeing. He's livid. He's letting that frustration come over him. He's charges Chyna. Chyna moves out of the way. Rick Rude eats the buckle. Chyna goes into the top rope, starts laying in those 10 punches on him. Boom, comes out of the corner with a big X Factor. Boom, goes for the cover, a quick cover on Rude. Boom, nothing. Boom, whips Rude off the ropes. Liz holds his feet. Chyna runs over at Rude. Rude backdrops Chyna onto the apron. That's where Liz grabs Chyna's foot from underneath of her. Boom, big, takes her back onto that apron, onto the hardest part of the ring.
Oof, if you didn't know, that is the hardest part of the ring.
That is the hardest part of the ring, and they were taking advantage of it, and Liz knew this, and Rude knew this, and Chyna's back sure as hell knows this right now. They start taking the heat on Chyna's back, working it over, doing Boston crabs, doing camel clutches. Rude finally throws Chyna out to the outside, a little bit of insult to injury. Liz goes for the big slap on Chyna. Chyna blocks, is able to slap Liz, rolls in the ring. Rude goes to body slammer. Chyna drops behind. Chyna goes for the roll up off the ropes. 1, 2, kick out. Chyna gets kicked in the guts. Rude goes for that rude awakening. Slowly. Chyna spins around, turns it around into that big pedigree. Boom. 1, 2, 3. Middle of the ring. Chyna wins. Liz and Rude can't believe it. Liz grabs Rude and ushers him off to the back, holding him. Rude is sobbing in Liz's arms. Can't believe what just happened. Thought that the airbrush tights was going to bring him luck. Couldn't believe that he saw his mother in such shame, being such shamed on Chyna's tights tonight. Rick Rude leaves. Chyna stands victorious in the ring.
Great. That's been brewing for many weeks.
Totally. And then here we are tonight. Will this be the end? Hopefully, Chyna's got bigger fish to fry. She can move on, leave Rick Rude in the dust. We go back to the hospital where we see Muda standing over top of D'Lo Brown in the bed. He's like over top of him, like you picture like some sort of demon from a horror movie, just like crouched above him, full face paint, spits the mist right into D'Lo Brown's laying face. Again, the families all around, they're watching all this. They've seen the exorcism from Luther. They've seen the sock puppet from Mick Foley. Now they're watching D'Lo Brown go from champion to in a coma over weeks, and now he's having this weird demon spit mist into his face. Again, nothing. They're hoping for anything, but D'Lo Brown, still no signs of life. And that's where we leave D'Lo Brown this week, wondering next week, will we see D'Lo Brown come out of this coma? We've only got 2 weeks. We've only got one more TV before the big show. Will D'Lo Brown come out of his coma? We go to our main event. It's Taker versus Mike Awesome. 2 of the biggest, 2 of the baddest, 2 of the best power bombs in the business.
Yep.
They go in there, and of course, it's not going to be pretty. Taker and Awesome just start throwing blows at each other, 1 for 1. Of course, Taker's a little bit more, has more skill, has more years under his belt, has more of that punching technique, has those leather gloves. You know, I don't know what's in those leather gloves, but he's got them, and they're working. And so he's able to take control on Awesome. Goes for the big old school, walks out. Awesome's able to push him off, knocks Taker to the floor, hits the big dive, goes for the big dive on Taker. Taker's able to scurry out of the way at the last second. Boom. Awesome. Eats the announce table. Boom. Where we've got Joey Styles just doing his nails. And shocked at this point when the table explodes in front of him with Mike Awesome. At that point, Taker sees the opportunity. He hits the ropes. He goes for his big dive, crushes the what's remaining of the table and what's remaining of Mike Awesome on the outside. Throws Mike Awesome into the ring, goes for the big tombstone pile driver. Awesome's able to kick over, goes for the tombstone of his own. Taker's able to slip behind, kicks Awesome, picks him up. Big last ride. Awesome gets laid out. 1, 2, 3. Our champion, still our champion, The Undertaker. Making quick work, but still showing that Mike Awesome is a force to be reckoned with. And our show ends there, wondering, Next week, will we see D'Lo Brown come out of his coma? Is the feud between Rick Rude and China over? What will Taker do? Who will end his reign of dominance? Will Booker T be able to stick? Will he stick to the good side? Will he be able to find where his alliances lie? Where's Abe Lincoln and Buff Bagwell? Where's the hat? What's with the hot sauce? How's therapy going for Roddy Piper and Raven? All these answers and more coming your way next week.
Great show.
Boom.
Great show. What's going to happen with Jeff Hardy and the Flat Earthers? Where
Right.
does the Hart Foundation go from here?
Exactly. Like they're showing that they should probably be the tag team champions. They've held a no count out win over the Flat Earthers. The Flat Earthers ran away because they knew that they were going to lose, but they've also got beef with the Giant and with Kane and with just hot. They've got heat. So much heat.
Wow.
Hot sauce in general. Where are we going?
Great show. Great show. And Kane and the Giant, they're lurking around somewhere.
They're looking around. They're working on their best cayenne hot sauce pepper.
So do you have? Yeah, they're using the big red hot sauce machine, prepping their next batch. Do you have any matches announced yet for your pay-per-view, or is that saved for next week?
That'll be all coming out to you next week. Yeah. So this is all brewing. We've got the feuds brewing. We'll see where they end up next week.
I like it. Okay. I'm ready. This is Breakout episode 6. Second last episode of the pay-per-view. So we open the show. Tony Schiavone, Don Callis, Sonny, they welcome us to the show. Pyro going off everywhere as usual. We got pyro from the ceiling now. They've really upped the pyro budget.
So it's coming down like raining.
It's raining down. Merchandise sales have been through the roof due to TL Hopper, his variety of merchandise. So we've increased the pyro budget. It's even bigger. As the pyro is going off, High Impact, our new tag team champions, Edge and Chris Jericho, they're making their way to the ring for a big title defense. Tony Schiavone runs down our card for tonight. We have a double main event, a dream match. I actually looked this up. This match never actually took place. Ric Flair defends the Intercontinental title against Jushin Thunder Liger.
Ooh.
Very, very cool match. I had to double confirm that has actually never happened. We will also have another main event, Eddie Guerrero taking on his old rival, Rob Van Dam. Sure to be a technical masterpiece. Side note, I was actually in attendance for the ladder match that they had that one time on Raw where that guy pushed the...
In the Oilers jersey, I was there too.
Yeah. Oilers jersey, I was there. Yeah. We will also see the singles debuts of the Macho Man, Randy Savage, and in a separate match, the loose cannon, Brian Pillman, also in action tonight for the first time in singles action. So High Impact is in the ring, and out comes their opponents, the Heenan family. It's Crush and Kurt Hennig. Of course, this match was set up last week when High Impact sprayed them down with the champagne fountain, ruined their nice suits. Ric Flair is not at ringside. He's got his Intercontinental title defense tonight. I just lost my page as well here. 1 second. Okay, so Jericho and Mr. Perfect, they start the match back and forth. Crush ends up cutting off Edge for the heat. They beat down Edge for several minutes. Crush goes for a big power bomb. Edge falls behind. He hits the ropes. Spear on Crush. Edge is able to make the hot tag. Jericho runs in. He hits a spinning heel kick on Crush. Hennig runs in. He gets backdropped over the top rope. But Jericho turns around and Crush hits him with a big boot. Edge charges in. He spears Crush through the ropes, and the two of them fall right out to the floor. Kurt Hennig dives off the top for a flying drop kick, but Jericho catches his legs, spins him over, locks on the Lion Tamer. He leans right back real hard, and Kurt Hennig is tapping out High Impact with a successful title defense against Kurt Hennig and Crush. The Heenan family.
There's a lot of long hair in that match.
Tons of a lot of long blonde hair. I think all four of them long blonde locks.
I think so too, and I think they all wear like that leave-in conditioner as well.
Mm-hmm. This is Kona Crush, so blonde mullet Crush.
Totally, that'd be a good sponsor for you. That leave-in conditioner, you know.
Yeah, if we can't
pay off some of that pyro budget.
If we can't get Orange Crush, maybe both.
Yeah.
We're backstage at the American Idol set. Disco Inferno, he's back in his spinning voice chair. He still can't quite get it to work, but he eventually gets it to spin around. Nice. And there's a lineup of guys that have auditioned for his dance crew. He says he's chosen. He's making some decisions. He's chosen his dream dance crew. So Doc Hendricks is there, Salvatore Sincere, La Parka, Tiger Ali Singh, and of course the tag team of Goldust and TL Hopper. They're standing there. They're waiting to hear the results. Disco says he was not impressed with anyone, but here we are. We must make a decision. He promised a team. He promised a team, so he's choosing the two best of the worst. Disco says he has chosen La Parka for his innovation with the chair. Agreed. And Tiger Ali Singh. He was quite intrigued by the Bollywood style dancing.
Fair enough.
So the other guys, they all walk off. They're disappointed. La Parka and Tiger Ali, they're high-fiving. They can't believe it. They're part of their very own stable. And Disco announces that he's made a few phone calls to a few friends, and he has purchased the rights to the name, and their new stable will be called 3 Count.
Ooh, wow.
He made a special call to his old friend, Gregory Shane Helms.
Yeah, he's not using it anyways, Hurricane's making a lot more money, I think Shannon Moore's doing tattoos or something.
He paid him somewhere around $200.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Which was his payoff for the Rumble in the Bronx.
I like that it wasn't even 300.
Yeah, it wasn't even 300. Shane Helms wanted 300, but he met Disco in the middle at 200.
Fair enough.
We're back in the ring. Pomp and Circumstance hits the Macho Man Randy Savage, makes his way to the ring, sponsored by Slim Jim. He's accompanied to the ring by his man Surfer Sting, of course, forming an alliance last week. The lights go out, and Mortis makes his way to the ring with the Dark Alliance. There's fire, there's lighting, there's all sorts of fun stuff with the Dark Warrior and Gangrel and Jake the Snake, the higher power. So Jake jumps up on the apron. He distracts Savage momentarily, and Mortis jumps him right off the bat. Mortis, he puts the heat on Randy Savage. He's hitting him with some unique offense. He beats him down. Mortis, the big man, of course. Sting, he's trying to rile up Savage at ringside. He's hitting the mat. Savage fires back up. He makes a big comeback on Mortis. He hits a drop kick. Body slam. He heads to the top. Big flying elbow. And Savage hooks the leg for the 1, 2, and 3. He defeats Mortis clean in the ring. The Dark Alliance, they run in the ring and they just attack Savage. They're hitting Savage. Sting pulls up the apron from ringside, pulls something out. He slides in the ring and he's got the bat.
Oh.
He has the baseball bat and he's swinging the bat, and these guys are all bailing out of the ring. And Surfer Sting, he stands tall. He's pointing the bat at the Dark Alliance as they make their way up the ramp, and the mind games continue.
Awesome.
Wow.
And the color contrast of those two outfits too. You got the Dark Alliance. I'm mad, like wearing the dark, and you got the neon extraordinary explosion that is a Macho Man Randy Savage and Sting.
Mm-hmm. And Sting maybe pulling something out from another persona of his with the bat underneath the ring.
Yeah, it might be something that could only take out the Dark Alliance. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. We're back, and Disco Inferno actually has built a little dance studio backstage, and he is working on their first choreographed dance routine with Parka and Tiger Ali Singh, and they cannot get it right. These three guys all have vastly different styles of dance. Disco is very upset about this. Too Cold Scorpio walks by, and he just starts laughing. This is an embarrassment. And Disco, he throws his papers down. He storms out of the dance studio. 3 count. This is not off to a good start here.
Well, like Disco only knows that one move. So is that what they're doing? Just that one still spinning of the finger and pointing?
Yeah. Disco's been watching like Saturday Night Fever.
Okay.
Trying to get some ideas.
Cool.
He's trying to expand his repertoire. Maybe Disco has got some roller skates on.
Of course, yep.
He's roller skating around the dance.
As any good wrestler does. Any good wrestler is wearing roller skates the majority of the time.
And I imagine La Parka's on the roller skates, but he's just kind of slipping around like he can't get his...
Trying to stand on roller skates on a folding chair, though. That'd just be like, that's a Guinness Book of World Records feat.
That's great. That might be in our next routine. So back in the ring, money falls from the ceiling. Ted DiBiase and IRS, they make their way to the ring, followed by Goldust, who makes his way to the ring with TL Hopper. It is a singles match. Goldust taking on IRS, Irwin R. Is it Shyster or Schweister? How do you pronounce it? Shyster. Irwin R. Shyster. That makes sense, yeah. So Goldust, he's still heartbroken after they lost the tag team titles last week. They had that 24-hour title reign. IRS, he tries to jump him at the bell, but he ducks. Goldust just fires right up at IRS. He's letting all his frustration out, many weeks of pent-up frustration. He shoots him off. He gets the big power slam. DiBiase jumps up in the apron, but TL pulls him off, and he starts hitting DiBiase on the floor. This distracts the ref momentarily. Goldust is once again able to put IRS in the corner and hits the Shattered Dreams, kicks him right in the nuts. IRS sells out to the middle of the ring. Goldust comes up behind, hits the curtain call, and the ref slides in for the 1, 2, 3. Goldust defeats IRS. Goldust and TL, they're celebrating on the ramp. We cut to Sunny at the announce table. She's standing up. She's very excited. She's clapping, and she blows a kiss at TL Hopper. TL Hopper, he catches the kiss, and he's so flustered he falls right over on the ramp, like a cartoon character who was shot with an arrow, a heart arrow.
That. Did you see the lips come off Sunny?
Yeah, they flew right over there, just hit TL, and he fell right over. He so can't believe it. Biggest smile ever on his face. Goldust is just trying to help him up off the ramp, but TL's a large man.
He is a big boy.
Goldust is trying to help him up. Backstage, Doc Hendricks is with Bam Bam Bigelow, the Beast. Bam Bam says he's a monster. He's destroyed everyone in his path. No one can stop Bam Bam Bigelow.
It's true.
And Bruiser Brody walks up, and he just stands face to face with Bam Bam, and they're just staring at each other. They're grunting, the two behemoths. They stare each other down, and we cut to commercial break. Something brewing with the two monsters, Bam Bam and Bruiser Brody.
Again, a match you could sell a pay-per-view alone on. Just that,
Huge.
those two, right?
Huge. Can the ring withstand those two men in there at one time?
Basically a triple threat match, them versus the ring.
The ring, yeah. We're back for this dream match, the Intercontinental title. Ric Flair makes his way to the ring with the Heenan family. Jushin Liger heads out to the ring to that awesome theme song with the Japanese legends. Flair and Liger, they go face to face. The bell rings. These two go back and forth. It's 15 minutes. It's an epic encounter. Lots of close calls, near falls. Flair heads to the top, but Liger throws him off with the big Beal. Liger heads to the top. He goes for the shooting star press, but Flair moves, and Liger hits his stomach first. Flair covers him with his feet up on the ropes, but Liger kicks out at 2. Liger backdrops Flair over the top. He hits a big flying crossbody dive to the floor. Bobby Heenan jumps up in the apron, distracts the ref. Crush hits a big boot on Liger on the outside. Hayabusa and Ultimo Dragon run around the ring, and they attack Crush and Kurt Hennig, and this thing's breaking down in a brawl on the floor. The ref runs out. He's trying to restore order between this group. Bobby Heenan passes Ric Flair the brass knucks that he used last week. The ref slides in. He gets the brass knucks. Liger slides back in the ring, and Flair pops him with the brass knuckles right in the face. Boom. Now the ref slides in. Flair's hiding the brass knucks in his hand. Ric Flair hooks the leg 1, 2, and 3. Liger defeated by the dirtiest player in the game with the brass knuckles. So Flair's still got the brass knuckles on. Ultimo slides in, spins him around. Flair goes to punch him with the brass knuckles. Ultimo ducks, hits him with a slice bread number 2. Ric Flair falls out to the ring. He's helped out by the Heenan family. Ultimo Dragon standing tall in the ring, calling out Ric Flair.
Wow, where will this go? Like 3-on-3? Like there's so many possibilities for this, right? And like such an interesting combination of stars too.
Yeah, unbelievable. Doc Hendricks backstage with Jim Cornette's office. And Cornette announces that we will, in fact, have some very special celebrity guests at Worlds Collide. We've got 2 of the biggest actors of the 90s. They're going to be there, a special appearance, the ultimate romance of the 90s. Ooh. It's Ross and Rachel from Friends. It's Jennifer Aniston. It's David Schwimmer live at Worlds Collide.
Geez, pyro budget, your car budget, your celebrity budget is off the chain, man. Like, how you landed them is wild. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure the Friends cast was making like $1 million an episode.
100% they were, yeah.
In that last run. So, I mean, this was
not
cheap.
For a haircut alone, you have to have paid like at least $100,000.
For sure. Well, that's what I was saying. I mean, the merch sales luckily have been through the roof with TL.
That's awesome. I'm glad that those plungers have been selling so well.
The plungers, yeah. Now we can afford David Schwimmer and Jennifer Aniston. Back in the ring, Brian Pillman makes his way to the ring for his singles debut. He's looking creepy. He's looking insane. He's weird. Too Cold Scorpio heads out to the ring. Big reaction, fan favorite. Pillman jumps Scorpio. He starts beating him up as the bell rings. Scorpio fires back, a big spinning heel kick. He goes for a twisting crossbody off the top rope. Pillman ducks out of the way. Pillman picks Scorpio up, hits the hangman neck breaker for the 1, 2, 3. Pillman is celebrating when all of a sudden up on the Tron, Stone Cold Steve Austin pulls up in the parkade in the outdoor parking lot, and he's in a giant Austin 316 monster truck.
There we are, that car budget again.
Very 90s. He's in the huge monster truck. He revs the engine. Pillman is looking terrified in the ring, and Austin drives his monster truck over Pillman's 1973 El Camino, crushing it.
No!
He crushes Brian Pillman's El Camino. Pillman is livid. He's throwing a fit in the ring, and we cut to commercial break. Austin destroying Pillman's car. Of course, payback for Pillman destroying Austin's pickup truck several weeks ago.
Jeez, again, the car budget. And we know how much that car meant to Pillman, too.
Man, our pyro is up. We got Ross and Rachel. We got the car budget. We are blowing money like crazy. No wonder we only have a couple shows left. We will be bankrupt. Backstage, Doc Hendricks interviews TL Hopper and Goldust. TL, he just can't believe it. He is smitten over Sonny. And before Goldust can even say anything, DiBiase and IRS interrupt. They're upset. IRS was defeated earlier tonight. They're sick and tired of this. They said, we want one more match against Goldust and TL. We need to get our revenge. And we want that match at Worlds Collide.
Okay.
DiBiase says, TL, you better start concentrating on this match and stop flirting with a girl that would never be with a fat loser like you. And TL is heartbroken. And Goldust says, you know what? You're on. You're on for Worlds Collide, but it's going to be in my specialty match, a Hollywood backlot brawl.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Wow. TL Hopper and Goldust versus DiBiase and IRS in a Hollywood backlot brawl at Worlds Collide. That card is shaping up.
Totally is. Yeah, that's a wild match. And the cars, again, in that match can be used, right?
The cars. And speaking of Worlds Collide, we cut to a video package recapping Shawn Michaels, the world champion, and Eddie Guerrero, the #1 contender, both of their childhoods growing up in Texas, showing early footage of their wrestling careers, how they both got to this point here. There's interviews with Jose Lothario, Shawn's trainer, members of the Guerrero dynasty, interviews with them. And we are heading to an epic collision at Worlds Collide. And it's time for our main event. Eddie Guerrero heads to the ring. He's in a blue lowrider. The fans are going nuts. He's got a rose in his mouth. And Rob Van Dam makes his way out to the ring with the High Flyers, Sabu, and Too Cold Scorpio. Scorpio still kind of selling the neck from the Brian Pillman match earlier. And these guys are about to start the match when HBK's music hits. And he makes his way to the ring, and he grabs a headset, and he joins the commentary team for the main event here. Shawn's got his belt over his shoulder, looking nonchalant.
Feet up on the table. His feet are on the
table.
Feet up
on the table. He's got that little hat on. He's got a cool vest. And the main event, Eddie and RVD, another technical classic. These guys go 15 minutes back and forth, just all sort. Eddie's knee is healing up, but he's still hurting a little bit, but he's healing up. Eddie hits the Three Amigos suplex for a 2 count. Eddie goes up top for the frog splash, but Van Dam hits the rope, and Eddie falls forward into the ring. He's trashing hard. Eddie kind of sits up into the corner, and Van Dam climbs up on the opposite corner and hits the Van Terminator.
Oh, geez.
1, 2, and Eddie kicks out. HBK, he's impressed. He's impressed with Eddie's tenacity here. Van Dam sets Eddie up on the top rope. He climbs up for a superplex, but Eddie shoves him back into the ring. Eddie dives off for a frog splash, but Van Dam moves and quickly pops up at the top rope and hits a frog splash of his own. 1, 2, and a kick out. Eddie kicks out of the 5-star frog splash, and Van Dam, he can't believe it. Nobody's ever kicked out of this move. It's never happened. Van Dam pulls him into the corner. He goes for the split-legged moonsault, but now Eddie moves out of the way this time. Eddie goes to pick RVD up, but he shoves him back. He goes for a spin kick. Eddie catches him, turns it into a hard power bomb. Eddie quickly makes his way to the top, hits a frog splash of his own. 1, 2, and 3. Eddie defeats Van Dam in another classic match. Two classic matches tonight. Eddie, he's making his way up the ring, celebrating the high flyers. They get in the ring to help Van Dam up. HBK slides in from behind. He spins Sabu around. Super kick. Scorpio turns around. Super kick to Scorpio. Van Dam's just getting up. Boom. Super kick to Van Dam. Eddie sees this. He races back to the ring. HBK powders out. Eddie's helping up the high flyers. HBK's heading up the ramp. He's holding his title belt high. And we fade to black. Jeez. Another huge show tonight. Van Dam defeated by Eddie. Eddie and HBK heading to a collision at Worlds Collide. We've got Brian Pillman versus Steve Austin at Worlds Collide. TL Hopper and Goldust taking on DiBiase and IRS in a Hollywood backlot brawl. There's something brewing with Bam Bam and Bruiser Brody.
Totally. That's what I'm interested in, man.
Tag team titles, Intercontinental title. Man.
Yeah, there's so much going on. Yeah, it's all coming to a culmination point.
Of course, Sting and the Dark Alliance, that whole angle right there. 3 count.
Oh, yeah.
Has been formed. You know Disco Inferno is going to demand a spot on that pay-per-view. So tons going on.
Ross and Rachel announced. We got one more celebrity still to come.
Yep. Huge show. So this is it, man. We're on that final ride. We got one more TV next week. You're going to announce your whole card.
Yeah.
Big shows next week. The final countdown.
Ooh, nice.
If you will, I might play that song before we head into the pay-per-view. We have assistants out, and they are buying all the fireworks and pyrotechnics in the metropolitan area.
Fantastic.
For this final pay-per-view. I'm imagining the pay-per-view will just begin with like the first 2 hours is just a pyro show.
It's a 2-day event, and the first day is just pyro.
The first day is just pyro. Get it out of the way.
Totally, yeah.
Let the smoke clear out.
Full 8 hours of pyro.
Yeah. Like I'm sure, part of the roof in the arena will be lit on fire by accident. We'll have to
clear at least part of it. You know what I mean? That's to be expected.
To be expected.
Yeah.
Okay, man.
Awesome, dude.
Very cool. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Episode 10. We got 2 episodes remain, and then we'll do maybe a little analysis episode at the end of the season.
Yeah, buddy.
Very fun. And we will see you guys next week. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining. Bye, buds.